Sometimes you have to be the one creating things that you want to see more of, in the world or in your city. If you want to see more of something in the world, like, create it, create it, be in it, get started with
Embody
it,
it. Be
embody
that
it, embody
thing.
it.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
you,
for real.
hey everyone, welcome back to Limitless Stories, where we do explore the role of mindfulness, fitness, and relationships in shaping our growth. And today's guest, I have the pleasure of having Jade. Jade is a DJ, and a co-founder of Girls We Do Adore. Through her work, she's creating spaces that uplift women and creatives, giving them a platform to share their stories and connect in meaningful ways. From building community projects to curating musical journeys behind the decks, Jade embodies what it means to lead with passion, presence, and purpose. If you've ever felt the call to create or connect but weren't sure where to begin, this episode will remind you that sometimes the best way to build something meaningful is to start with joy and community. And with that, let's dive in. Jade, welcome. How are we feeling today?
Thank you, Greg, for the intro. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
How's your Sunday been so far?
It's been good. For my Sundays, I usually go into slow mode. So just getting everything done slowly and doing those things are the best.
Mm-hmm. Quick little reset. I
Yes.
love I love Sundays
Sundays.
for reset, to be honest, just because as you said, when you slow down to start your week, you can pace it a bit better.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's just dive into it, Jade. When you think about creativity, right? When do you think creativity first sparked into your life?
For me, I think the best way it came about was I really like to bring people together. So I just remember growing up, I would just have parties or events and things like that. And I really like having special experience and curated experiences. So I remember, like, back in high school, I would just bring people together, whether it was for my group of girls or whether it was for a group of friends. I think that
Right.
whole connection piece was super or is super important to the creativity. And so when I got older, I was still doing a little bit of those events, but not as a full scale.
Mm.
But I've been really inspired by other people and places too that have done it on a bigger scale. And I was like, I think I want to do something like this for my community.
The spark for curation and creativity started as a community based style of approach. Did you learn that? You said you learned it from people and places. Did you learn that from family? Was there a particular person that got you into this vibe, or are there places that you visited that made you see the vision?
That's a good question. I would say just the intentions of bringing people together. And I think that connection piece was what really started my creativity. Also, I've always been into art, but never good at drawing. And
Yeah,
as growing older, you learn, like, art is a lot of things, right? It can
fact.
be photography, it could just be the way you live your life and things like that. So I think just bringing that intention with my art and seeing how, you can actually build things in the city. It doesn't have to be artistic, but it does have a vision to it.
I feel like I relate to that a lot in the sense that I always loved art myself, but I didn't really know how to express it or how to go about in terms of artwork that is not the conventional drawing on a piece of paper with
Yes.
your own unique perspective. So, what are
Yes.
some of the ways that you feel like you express your art as Jade today?
I would say a huge part of it has been the curation of events. So my friends and I, we always try to put our element into it. Music is a huge part of my life too. Like, the whole idea about putting things together. I love graphics and the visual aspect of things. I would spend hours at Pinterest, on IG,
Shout
just
out to
getting inspo.
Pinterest.
Yeah, just getting inspo of how artists have done their work or how they put photos together or their graphics and flyers. For
Mm,
me, art, I guess, is the whole experience. Without the visual aspect, for me, like, it has to have everything to
right.
it.
I really love that perspective in how you encompass this curator vibe from the jump. You're really much into curating music or art in whatever definition that works for you. And I think I would be curious to understand, what does the word curator mean to you personally?
Personally, to me, curation, like, it's two things for me. It's like the vision. of what you want
Mm,
people to experience
mm,
or want to get out of something. So for me right now, it'd be like events or music. Um,
mhm,
Curation is like it's like a feeling you want people to feel when they're listening to your
mm,
music. 'Cause for me, the reason why I believe so much in curation is I want people um, to feel something special and to have like a memorable experience. And I think a huge part of that too is just the connection piece. Like I want people to remember why they went to this event or how they felt after they connected with somebody at the event or how
mm.
they felt about the music and things like that. I speak a lot in curation because I feel that curation is a huge part of myself that I try to give to others in a sense.
I love that because like I think you've touched on the integration of personal desire of how you view it and then how that goes and infiltrates the people who are on the receiving end and in turn creating a connection between the two. I think that's something that can give you immense sense of meaning and belonging and to a certain extent identity too. So with that in mind, I'm curious to know, can you recall the first time that you felt like your creation had an impact on others?
Yeah, I remember before we started Girls We Do Adore, I was actually helping a friend with their thrifting side business. And shout out Jasmine. And she asked me to
Shout out
help her.
Jasmine.
Yeah, she asked me to help her with an event called Women of the Hour. And it was, created for women to have a special night out with special drinks, to go shopping with specific vendors. And we had it in a really nice venue, and, we had a female DJ and things like that too. And that just being a part of that process and at the event, the atmosphere when the women were like coming together, eating people. I think that was one where I was like, okay, this is so cool. Like I've never experienced this before. And I
Right.
remember having women come up to me and be like, they're not from here and they find that Vancouver sometimes is a hard place to connect with others, find things to do with others. So when they said this is a really different event because it's not only um, bringing people together, but it's welcoming people who don't experience this as much or have not
Mhm,
experienced it. So that's when I was
mhm.
like, I love doing this. Like, I love seeing people get together and be like, hey, like, this person, like, we can get together and do this.
Right.
So, yeah, that was a pivotal experience.
We learn so much by doing and
Thank you so
blocking
much.
out the noise and just going after it. I think that's a good segue to give me a quick backstory to what inspired you to start Girls We Do Adore.
Yeah. So, Girls We Do Us Door started as an intention to create platforms and creative spaces for women in music, arts, and curated events. The vision I had was like, I love music and, I
Mhm,
wasn't DJ back then, but I knew a friend who was, a woman DJ and I hardly saw any like women DJs have a platform, even though I knew like, a handful of women DJs. Okay. I see this happening in like Toronto, in LA, like a lot more
mm,
women DJs, up and coming or having a lineup to themselves. I included my friend DJ Chels, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this idea? Like having just a collective to curate events and experiences for the women, and like by women." And so she was on board with that. Then I got my other friend Jara as well,
mhm.
and coincidentally, we're all like Filipino and stuff too. So we always see each other at events, music events. Like feel that saying in the club we're all fam. Like it just
We all
felt
fam. We all
exactly.
fam.
And so working with them has been kind of like, sisterly bonding. And then the vision
Did you
became
know them?
something bigger.
Did you know them personally before, or this was the thing
Yeah,
that brought you closer?
oh, definitely brought us closer. I knew them from maybe friend status and then good friends.
Okay.
And then now we talking almost every day. Or I'm including them DJ things and other community events. Yeah, so the vision actually became bigger because not only did we want to create a platform in art and music, but it was the community part that really grew.
Man, I love
Yeah,
that. I love that. I
yeah.
love that you've kind of like just woven your creativity into community.
Thank you.
I know a lot of that comes down to being intentional and being
Yes.
present because it takes a lot of awareness to say, oh, you know what? I see this happening around the world or in other major cities, but the city that I'm repping is not necessarily doing
Mm,
the same thing. So I give you a lot of credit for that because it takes awareness and mental awareness is something that I feel like it's not easy to gather because of just how busy we are. It's not even that it's a skill, but it's just like we're so busy, man. Like even
Hmm.
shooting that text or shooting that call sometimes can be cumbersome.
Totally, I feel
So
that.
I feel like that intentionality is something I'm super grateful to pick up from you because it showcases itself and how you've grown the community. So
No, thank you. But
yeah.
Greg, I want to mention too, it hasn't always been a smooth path. Collective is also a passion project, I would say, learning my friends' capacities as well too. Like you said, like we're
Mm.
all busy. So how do we prioritize our intentions with reality too?
Talk to me about that.
I feel sometimes we might be pressured to perform right away or do the next event right away or push
Hmm.
our art right away.
Right.
But working with a group and collaboration, you have to take in a lot of other things, like in having empathy, like, hey, this person might not have the capacity. Is there a way to help them in this moment? Is it super important for us to like push through, or can we wait a bit when that person's ready to like, have the meetings, push through like other tasks that are part of the group?
How have you
Yeah.
balanced that? How have you balanced
Gosh.
showing up with the desire to give more, but the group is not ready because you're doing this in collaboration? How have
Yes.
you balanced that in terms of output? Because as you said, you mentioned something that I feel like a lot of community oriented groups face. Like, man, we just had a successful event. We got to capitalize on the momentum.
Yes. Yes.
But we're kind of wired to think that way based on the fact that social media is very constant. It's 24/7. You
Hmm.
can't sleep, you can't catch up. So
Yes.
how do you balance yourself in that mental frame of like, okay, I'm doing this with people. I gotta figure this shit out with them.
Yeah. Well, that's a great question because collaboration is powerful and is great, but it also has its challenges, right? And so I
Mm.
think you touched base to the pushing more and, producing more and things like that. And I think we just have to remember, like, a friend told me about this whole idea about planting seeds. And like, sometimes it does take a lot of time to think about something and think about why you're doing it, not just pushing through.
Mm.
But also in reality, having those honest conversations with your teammates, your collaborative team, because although it's great having one person do everything, it's also burnout for that one person as well. Sometimes I know for myself, I want to like do it all. Like I want to,
Jack of
you know,
all trades, man.
keep keep
Like,
keep continuing, but it's just like you have to really kind of just sit down and be like, okay, like this is a group effort. Like you have to remember your collective's intentions and not just
hmm
your own personal intention as well. And also back to like having empathy, like maybe setting those little tasks, like little by little, to make sure everyone's on board. For us last year, it was just like push, push, push. Like we pushed a lot of events and experiences. And we talked about it in the beginning of the year, just like slowing down and remembering why, we're doing these experiences.
I love that. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing because that was healing for me. I feel like you've hit the nail on the head because on one front, there's the individual who has desire and passion for this
Yes.
project, but nothing in this world ever goes faster and quicker than
Mm,
collaboration and the right collaboration. So if you found a team that is willing to sacrifice, it's like basketball, right? If you have somebody who's not willing to pass the ball or rebound
yeah.
or shoot the three when they're open, it can impact the team significantly. And
Yes.
even when you're playing defense, if you beat my point of attack defense, I have a rim protector at the back just waiting block shots and do all
Mm,
this. But it has to be a team effort. Like
yes.
no team is balanced without certain types of players and different type of profiles. So in this
Yes.
same scenario, right, you find you bring the urgency, hey, we got to get this shit done, but then somebody else will come and ground you and say, hey, we will get this done, but let's make sure we're getting it done with the collective vision of girls we do or do in mind. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
I really I really really love that, and that takes a lot of mindfulness because you can step on toes the wrong way.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I just want to say too, like, I agree with you. Like, I plenty of times had to like step back and be like, okay, does this need to be rushed? Does this need to be like taken care of like right now? Like when I don't have my
mm,
teammates, ready or like,
right.
they're busy. And I think a huge part of it is really being honest with your team, the vulnerability that comes with the group work. I feel nobody really talks about that. Everyone wants to be, kind of maybe put together or, having it like, don't worry, I can do that and things like that. But yeah, having that vulnerability piece just really helps your other team members like just know where you're at and how to move forward.
You're touching on some gems, man. I'm so
Well,
glad I
thank you,
brought you
man.
through. I
Thank you. This
appreciate
is
that.
limitless.
Hey man, the vision is limitless. So I'm really, really grateful that you're
Exactly.
touching on this. I think it's the vulnerability aspect, as you said, man. Like it
Yes.
depends on the type of relationship we have first that you have with
Yes.
yourself,
Totally.
because you can't really necessarily have that connection with somebody else if you're not connected with yourself. And that's
Yes.
that's a lifelong journey. As you said, like we like to showcase and show up as we're so well put together and we can do this and we can do that, but deep down we're burning out and
Mm.
we're not showing up to the best of our ability. So
Oof.
I really
Yes.
like that you guys have that cohesion and understanding, because man, listen, this burnout shit is real.
It's real. It's real. And what's sad too is like sometimes you don't even know that they're like, burned out, like, or like your friends are, burned
Let
out
me
too. So
let me ask you
yes.
real quick. How do you navigate like creative burnout or doubt when it hits?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
We like the
I
tough
think,
ones over here.
yeah, being a creative, I feel it does come out with the burnout. Like you're not gonna get one or the other because I feel as a creative, you just have so many visions and things you wanna, get going and try. And I do believe it is part of the process. And for me personally, how I try to navigate is you have to just take care of yourself before you kind of get to that point. Like,
But how do
the
you do
creative,
that? What are
yeah, like
some of
how do you do
what
that?
are some of the tools that you personally use to make sure that you don't get into that creative burnout zone?
For me, I love affirmations. I love reading things that inspire me. I'm on threads. I didn't know I'd get so hooked on threads, but threads is such like a way for me to like be inspired by people. Like people are telling you like to keep going. Don't
Hmm.
worry, your art's gonna change somebody's life or impact it.
Your
Like I don't know,
algorithm is mad.
y'all better go on
Your
threads
alg
now.
your algorithm is mad nice. Is all I'm saying.
Sometimes just go on threads for like 10 minutes, just reading all these inspirational things. And that really helps when I feel like I'm not doing enough, you know, like I have so many ideas, but I haven't done any action to them type of thing.
Like I
Sure.
feel like with community comes the challenge of also integration.
Yes.
When you're dealing with a lot of people, diverse backgrounds, different life
Yes.
stories, how do you feel like you protect your peace while showing up in this
Ooh,
community based events?
that's a deep, deep question. Deep question, Greg.
Only the
Um,
deep ones and the challenging ones,
I
man. We
know, only
want
the
you to
deep one. Yeah,
reflect.
we want the real story. Oh, okay. So how do I deal? Sorry, the question.
So the question is based around community. Like, how do you protect your peace while still showing up for your community? Because the community can have
Mm,
positive influences, but it can also have challenging influences that they'll test you. So we want to know
yes.
how you deal with them challenges.
Yes. I mean, everyone has different opinions on how things should even run from like a collaborative aspect and just like how the community you think might receive, your experience and things like that too. So personally, yeah, I've dealt with a lot of friends with opinions about certain things, how things were run. Sometimes people don't understand the vision part. They just see what you put out already, but they might not
Hmm.
see the intentionality about things. For me, when I've experienced those things, I take it to heart. I take it personally, but
Hmm.
I also know too that they might not fully understand why we're doing this or why,
Hmm.
or like what's the intentions behind this stuff. So I think dealing with those people should come with like curiosity. Like, why would they think that? And,
Hmm.
the thing you said about like diverse communities, honestly, we're trying to bring the diverse communities into these events and experiences. Like, a huge
Right.
part of Girls We Do Adore is bringing like BIPOC communities and like
Hmm.
different women communities that we're not used to. And yeah,
Hmm.
that comes with challenges because, we're not used to it or we're not introduced to them. But this is, I think, those events are chances for us to really like, okay, like meet and get to know each other.
Bridge the gap, right?
Yes, yes,
Right. And I can definitely see how challenging that can be, being from different backgrounds, different
yes,
ethnicities. There's certain people who withhold things to heart and they're like, this is my culture. How dare you do that?
exactly.
Okay. My biggest thing is if you hate somebody, it's because you don't know them. And a lot of people
Yes,
don't have the bridging capacity to just get to know people, get to
yes,
understand why are they doing what they're doing,
yeah,
instead of just personalizing it and taking it to heart. Not everyone is willing to do that, but that's okay. But
Mm,
I'm just hoping that they don't stop you from seeing the bigger vision, because at the end of the day, you know why you do what you do. And it's
yes,
not up to anybody else to validate that. The only
yes,
person who can validate that is the people who align with that vision.
yes,
And not everyone is going to align with it. And you have to be okay
yes,
with that.
yes.
At the end of the day,
I like
it's
that.
about sticking through with the personal vision. This is what I started this thing for, and having the ability to also adapt as you go, because your vision might change because your experiences will change. Your situation might change, your environment might change. So these are things that you also have to be mindful, but never lose the core of who you are just because
Yes,
somebody says something.
yes.
If they got enough guilt to say something, go do your own thing. God damn
I
it.
know, I know. Yeah, there's a lot of lanes, right? But Greg, you said something really great. I want to talk more about. You said like there's people that are going to be aligned with the vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like those experiences might just like be for them, or they understand that. And for me personally, a huge challenge was when we started Girls We Do Adore.
Mm-hmm.
I felt I wasn't supported by people that I thought that would support the idea. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was struggling with like, oh, they should be aligned with this because they know me, or like, why aren't they like, reposting everything? Like they're supposed to be my friends and things like that too. I've been doing for months. I was like, why aren't like my friends like, supporting me or like coming to my events? Like obviously I do have my core friends that do come. Shout out to those, those people. And then like
Big
I just
shout
go,
out. Big shout
yeah,
out.
and then even my other friend Jara, who's part of Girls We Do Adore, she's like, Jade, like sometimes like these events like are just not only for your friends. It's like there's other people out there that these events are for. And then that kind of changed my perspective. Like, okay, like there's other people who are also looking for a community like this. It doesn't have to be people that I personally know and things like that. So when you said like those who are aligned with the vision and the intentions, like those are who we build for, right? And
That's who you build for.
yeah, and also too like maybe just give people time to support you and things like that until unfortunately until they see, the outcome. And that's how
As
society
as sad as
works
it
sometimes.
sounds, man,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought this up. I'll tell you a
Yes.
quick story, not to
Yes,
hijack your
please.
moment, but thank
No.
you so much for sharing that. Same thing when I started this platform. I was like, damn, not even a
Yes.
repost? God damn.
Yeah.
And I expected, and
Yeah,
then
but
I
me.
remember having this conversation with myself, like at the beginning, before I ever even like, this was when I was still posting shit on my personal page. I had a conversation with myself and I asked myself, like, do you really think all your friends or your core friends actually align with the person that you are? We're probably friends because of
Wow.
different reasons. Just because you're into like mindfulness, relationships, and fitness doesn't necessarily mean that those are the core building blocks. Be okay with that. And as a matter of fact, shoot to get feedback from people you don't know, because people you don't know are
Yes.
honest. Like
Yes.
if let's say I record a song and I come to you and be like, yo, Jade, this I got this beat and this is my verse. You have every right to tell me that verse is fire, because if you don't, now I'm looking at you
Yes.
sideways. But who's that really helping? Who's
Yes.
that really helping? Like from a feedback standpoint, yeah, you want to curate those connections that have
Hmm.
honesty, and people are very good at talking about that, but it's very hard in
Yes.
practice. So
Yes.
to go back to that situation, I had to learn that everyone consumes social media differently.
Yes.
Someone might see your shit and they might not like it, but it might impact them. So I
Yes.
feel like you gotta be okay with those people who show love. And once you get the social validation, unfortunately, they'll come around. They'll come around and be like, "Hey, it's been a minute. How have you been?" And me, I told myself, man, I ain't gonna lie. I put a mental list. I'm like, man, listen.
I know we all do that. We all do that.
But I always
We still
all for
show them love.
love.
We still show them love.
Yeah, I'm all for love, and
Yes.
at the end of the day, no hard feelings on my end. Because at the end of the day,
Yes.
I know when they come to show love, I'll show love back. Because that's just how
Yes.
I was raised. So
Yeah. That's how you are. Yeah. And
yeah,
it's
but
real.
that's
It's real.
that's
Like,
real, man.
oh,
Building
it's
is
real.
real. I'm curious, like when you started building your
Yes.
first event, how did you go over that fear of like, oops, what if nobody shows up? Oops, what if it's not as popping as I thought it was? Like, how'd you get past those conversations with yourself?
Well, our first events were mostly like intimate events. So they were like, let's say like 60, 70-ish people.
She
But
casually
also,
dropped 60, 70-ish like it's nothing.
no, but also too, it was like, I think a huge push for us was like actually like reaching out to people that we want there as the beginning,
Mm,
right? So like whether it was
mm-hmm.
friends or whether it was like, people in the community that were also doing other things. But, us being Filipinos, we love to get together. So I don't think it was a challenge to kind of get people out to the events. I think the
Mm,
challenge was people understanding like the intentions of the event. So like
right.
let's say our first event was a wine night actually, and it was just featuring like women DJs. And people thought it was just for women only, but we were like, no, we want to invite everybody to come through.
Right.
Yeah, and then from that event too, we had like this community element. We always try to add a community engagement element to it. So what we had was like little notes in like a wine glass, and it was like, what do you want to see more in your community? And like people would write down that stuff as well too. So I think just like those little ways was like getting people kind of to see the vision
Mm,
as well. And then I think just like as time progressed, it was just like new people coming in here, hearing about us. Like, friends of
nice.
friends or like people be like, oh, hey, like I saw you did the other event before, things like that too. But yeah, like to be honest, it was in the beginning, it was like us doing the work, to
Right.
do us connecting, us reaching out, like
More
keeping
like
those
more
relationships.
outbound
Yeah.
than
Outbound.
inbound.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to my salespeople.
Yeah.
I feel like the awareness and just how you tie the building that space, and especially the one centered around connection and women's empowerment, is very thoughtful, and I commend you for it.
Thank you.
Even as you've mentioned community quite a bit, I'm just curious to understand.
Yes. Yeah. I think community it's a lot of things, but I think for me, there's like two things. Like community is like the collectiveness, and like that could go into kind of just like the shared experiences, the inspiration, the healing. And another way I look at community, my friends and I were talking, the girls and I were talking about this was like community is actually like, it might sound bad, but it's not like inconvenience because like you are putting yourself like a selfish like act to like, help others and like support others
In a
and things
way,
like that.
in a
Yeah,
way,
like in a
I
way,
could
but
I
I
could see
see
the
it.
spin. Yeah.
Yeah, but I see it as like kind of like a positive. Like it takes a lot for you to be in community, and to show up for others. It's not easy, but it's like that's the shared, collectiveness. That's the shared healing. And I think it really hit me when I gotta bring it up, like when Lapu Lapu happened for the Filipino community.
Right. Right.
That's when we were like, okay, like we need to really pause on, our vision for the community and help out and help and be of service to those who are like holding these like griefs, community events or like
Right.
bringing people together and things like that too.
Right.
So that's why I kind of see it as in that sense of that shared kind of, that shared healing aspect um with others. Yeah.
I really love the way you positioned that and how you tied it to the Lapu Lapu Festival tragedy that happened, because I genuinely feel like a lot of us don't understand what it takes to create a space for other people to be themselves. I
Yes.
don't like the basis of humanity has always been centered around connection and community.
Yes.
So it's very hard, especially in a world where people are growing up in a generation where they don't play outside. They are glued to their iPads. Thank
Yes.
God for us, we got to experience what it means to play outside a little bit. But there's people who are literally iPad generation kids. So it's like they don't really understand what that means. And if you look at like the numbers scientifically, there's a lot more people like who are anxious and depressed than it's ever been before. We have these tools that we were given to be connectors, to be like the guideline of like, bringing social media was a social space, but
Yeah.
is it really social anymore? Right? Because a lot of people who have these virtual communities don't necessarily feel the same satisfaction as you go and meet somebody in person. So
Yes.
I really, really feel like that one hit you home too, because like you're in that space, like you do
Yeah.
curate
Yeah.
events
It
and
really.
and
Yeah.
and stuff, right?
It did
Of course,
really. Yeah.
outside of the personal relationships that you had at the festival and all that, but I feel like it just takes a lot to host a community event that people don't appreciate enough.
Yes.
Like the authenticity, the space for just being yourself. Me personally, respect to y'all. Like,
Oh, thank
cause
you. It's
my
scary
first,
putting yourself out
it's
there. Like,
scary, man. Like
it's scary. It's scary.
it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of easier to put yourself out there by yourself.
Mm,
But if you put yourself out there with the outlook of others, hey man,
mm.
listen, now that's I can shoot threes, but I'm not Steph Curry. So like
Oh yeah, you never know.
otherwise I would be in the NBA making bread, not doing podcasts.
Yeah.
That's not the here
Hey.
nor there.
Oh my gosh, I'm cracking up. Give me a second.
All good, all good. We'd like to commercial break, everybody. Commercial break.
Mm,
Our guest cracking up. We do
yes.
stand up on the side too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of how this events that you've hosted, I think we have to touch base on like the meaningful ones or the ones that have made you feel like, you know what, I'm proud of Jade. Like I'm really proud of Jade. Do you have an event or a moment that you experienced during this event that made you feel like, you know what, I'm proud of Jade?
Oh man, I like this question. I like this
Thank
question
you.
because I think, being creatives and community builders, we never or we don't always get the chance to really like sit in like our, you know, accomplishments and like
Mhm.
blessings for a very long
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
and so yeah, I've tried to take that more to heart and more so after the events, like taking time to really take it, like the feedback, the in depth, and just like my own personal thoughts on how it went. There was one event that I really liked, and it was last year we had an opportunity to we had a city grant to do an event underneath the Cambie Bridge. And this was
Mhm.
like the first time the girls and I have done like something major. There's so much behind the scenes that nobody really sees.
Mhm.
The organization, the calls, the reaching out, the,
Mhm.
communication, all those things. And like when we pulled that off, I was just like, yeah, no, not more so like I'm proud of me. I'm like, I'm proud of us. Like we did this shit, like respectfully.
Yeah.
And so, it was an event that we had a bunch of women vendors, DJs, singers. We managed to get like two food trucks and like one drink kind of vendor as well. It was supposed to be like family friendly, so we had like things for families to do, and it was connect the four, football shootout, like things like that. And it was yeah January last year. And I just remember just seeing the whole vision come to life. It was just
Mhm.
an amazing feeling, and that's when I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like we did this. Uh, like anything that has to like I feel like all of our events have been just like from our mind and from our vision. Like we patch it up together.
Right.
So like so I feel all of them have inspired us to continue and like be proud of like what we do. So it
One
helps.
had a specific or a special oomph to it just because it validated a lot of the no's
Pardon
on
me.
the during the outreach. Like a lot of these things you gotta go through a whole lot of no's. Like, hey, we were
Yes.
planning to do this, yada yada
Oh
yada. No,
yeah.
sorry,
A lot of
not on
redirection.
budget. Do you feel like it hit harder because you had gone through a lot of that? Like adversity to get it pulled off?
Yeah, I think it was a challenges, and it was something like we've never done before. So like all of us, it was new to us. So even just like navigating that newness, right? And like being in that space is like, shoot, like, hey, so how should we respond? Or like, what's the next step, pretty much? And to be honest, we didn't have anybody to learn from.
Mm,
Like we're just thinking like, okay, like if I was in that position, like reverse role, like how would I want to be, contacted? How would I want to be, approached? So like
right.
a lot of it, yeah, a lot of it too was like, how would you feel if you were in that position?
Mm-hmm.
Receiving this, like, email and things like that too. Or and also too, we learned through that event, like the vendors and like the people we hosted, like we had to make sure they were okay, you know?
Right.
And it kind of brought back to that like relationship building, right? Like, we had
Mm-hmm.
to make sure we wanted to make sure they were fed, they were drinking, like they weren't too cold, like things like that too. So it was like checking on your people pretty much.
I
And I
love
think,
that.
yeah, and I think that whole event was just a really big experience for us. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
we definitely grew from that. And so that's when I was like, and after that too, I was like, yo, we could do this. We could do anything.
Exactly. There's a second
We
part
can
to it where it's
literally,
like,
yeah,
man, listen, we've been brainstorming, and sometimes we don't have the sense of
yeah,
urgency just because we don't have the data of how to do it. But
yes,
once you do it, then it gives you that
yes,
push of like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I could
yes,
definitely pull this off. Probably
yes,
in a way different grander scale, in a different metric. So
yes.
again, two parts of the story. Love that you did that for real, for real.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember too, it's a funny story, like last minute we had to like get a U-Haul and things like that. Like those like quick changes too. It's like, oh my God, like I was in the stress. I was definitely stressed. But it's like those little things, once you complete those little, challenges, it's like, damn, like you could really do anything. So that's what really inspired us to be like, we can do things even on a bigger scale. And just and yeah, and like just push through.
I think, yeah, little by little becomes a lot. That's my favorite
Yeah.
saying. Like
Yes.
just one
I love
day at a
that.
time, one step at a time. Of course, you had to start somewhere. So if you were to give advice to someone who wants to start something similar but doesn't feel ready yet, what would that be?
Ooh, what would that be?
Thinking about this one.
No, yeah, I'm thinking about this because there's a lot of ways I can approach this, but let's say this one just coming to mind is like when you're thinking about a vision a lot, like and like it fulfills you and like it's purposeful, it's intentional, like you won't stop thinking about it. And so, my advice to anyone who's kind of in that spot but like not afraid is like you really have to operate it more in faith than in fear.
Mm-hmm.
And just like believing in this vision so much that you have to do it. So I think just the belief in yourself. And if you're really, struggling with that, like, oh, I struggle with that all the time. It's like I just think of like impact. Like this, your work will inspire somebody,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if you know them or not. And I think that's just so powerful. Just like knowing that impact on someone. And yeah, and like you said too, like little by little, like whether it is something artistic, like doing a little bit each day or like putting time in, each day. And eventually you will have a finish, product or something that you wanna
Mm-hmm.
show too.
Okay.
Yeah. And I yeah,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I just think too, it's like also having a really good support system and like friends and family who are like, hey, like, you know what, you do have a really good idea. Like, I can't wait to see it. I
Mm-hmm.
I think we lose that encouragement because we're so hard on ourselves.
Mm,
We want, and also too, we want things to be, for me, like I want things to be perfect and things like that too. And it's like sometimes it will never get to perfect doesn't exist. And like we just
man,
procrastinating on that. It's just like
it's a an attainable standard. You
it
cannot
is,
attain perfection.
it is, it is.
Yeah.
And so just knowing that, once your art is out there and maybe it's not up to your, I guess, perfection or standard, but it's like you'll
Mm-hmm.
get better in time. And I think just taking that first step. It's scary taking that first step, but it's the most important one.
And you can
Yeah.
only get better by consistently showing up.
Only get better. Yes.
So,
Yes.
and it's all about connection, not perfection.
Totally. Ooh, yes.
So, I feel like, we got to touch base on on the connection that your music reflects. We've talked about the community aspect. So, I just wanted to quickly touch base on like what draws you to music as a medium for connection.
I think for me, it would have to be just the feeling it brings like people together.
Circle back community.
Circle back community. Music is a community thing. It's just one of those expressions and ways to connect to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so powerful because there's so many different, music and ways to share that, to share that
Right.
joy, to share that movement, to share that, like happiness. And like just I love it when I see like a song and people are just like laughing and dancing and having a good time and then they're dancing with other people, they're talking to other people.
Strangers sometimes.
Yeah, it's a shared experience as well too. And so I'm happy that I can take a part of that or like provide some sort of, you know, channel that could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever use music as a form of healing or reflection for yourself?
Oh yes, yeah. Like
How
I
so?
listen to music every single day. Like for me too, music is soothing. It's healing, right?
Mm-hmm.
and like just taking the time to like listen to your favorite song, like, 4 times, or like listening to new things. It definitely like helps and changes with something within you, I feel, you
Who's your
know?
favorite artist right now?
I don't say that, but I mean, to be honest, I love my guilty pleasures like sensual, like R&B. Like I just love like the sexy tune. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to say like I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. Lekan, Lekan. But
I'm
like,
tapped in. I'm tapped in.
yeah, okay, him.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I'm
like
tapped in.
Isaiah Falls,
Uh, I'm tapped in. I'm tapped in.
K1. Is that how you say the name? K1? K
K1 with the
two
"You Gon' Do What I Say." You gon'
say you go do it.
mm-hmm,
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean those
Album
are
was
my
a
favorite.
sleeper. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
know.
mean those
I'm
are
tapped
those are
in.
my favorite one. I love slow jams too, so any slow jam artist, you got me. You got me
Man,
listening to those.
I gotta plug you to my playlist for real.
Limitless. The Limitless slow.
Man, people sleep. Well, you know what? When you do a DJ set,
Yes.
give me 5 songs. Just 5 songs
Yes.
for like 10 minutes. I promise you,
Yes.
if somebody
Yes.
don't come and ask you, yo, what song is that? Then I failed. That's all I'm saying.
I bet. I was also gonna say Cleo Soul. I like, those inspirational songs
Mm-hmm.
too. And even the instrumentals, I love instrumental jazz and like things like that. Like it just
Oh yeah,
for
oh,
me it just
yeah.
puts you in a mood. Like it just puts you in a mood to, like you said, like earlier, Sundays are for resetting, like just the resetting. Sometimes music helps me, clear out some things. I love singing. I miss the Filipino gene, but I love like singing, listening to music, dancing and stuff too. So
I
it's
love
a, it's a
that.
healing. It's a healing,
It's
tool.
healing, man. Like I love you brought up jazz because like lately I've
Yeah,
been playing jazz in the background before, like when I'm winding down and
so
stuff, and
different.
it's just
Yes,
like your soul is just calm. It
it
actually
is.
it actually regulates your nervous system, no
Oh
lie.
yes. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm dead ass like, okay, I see the vision. I see the
You see the
vision.
vision. Yeah.
Let's talk about a little bit about like what does success look for you now compared to when you first started? You know, some legacy talk and reflection talk.
Legacy talking. Oh man, I mean, before success was always about like, you know, how many people know your events and like how many people went to your events,
Mm-hmm.
and and like I said earlier, like the outcome of things, right? Like it was always like just based on that too. But now, success is just like, it's like I'm just happy people come. Like, I'm happy people experience. I'm happy to make a space for like women who I feel, haven't gotten the space, or who's so talented. Like they're so talented. There's supportive people, inspirational women out there,
Mm-hmm.
that I think the city needs to see. And so for me, it's just like, I don't know, success is just creating for me, like anything,
Mm,
whether it's my music or work. And like, as long as I'm happy with it, and as long as I pursue it and do the vision, then that's success for me.
I love that.
Yeah,
I really embody the same mindset, and I'll just add my own personal twist to it
of
where
course.
I think I started viewing success as this concept where, especially when I started Limitless, because this is like the first time I'd put myself out there. For
Oh, yeah.
me, it was success was the fact that it came from idea to product or to an actuality of a thing. Like anything beyond that, anybody who comes here, anybody who gets impacted by a reel, an episode, that is a
Yes.
bonus 1 million check. But the biggest success was literally getting it conceived from the mind,
Mm,
which is an idea, to an
yes.
actual concept. And I'm so content with anything that goes from here. No matter how it
Yes.
plays out, I can't lose.
Yes.
Because
You
for me,
can.
the biggest battle was to get it out of here
Oh,
and to have it
yes.
as a concept. So
Yes.
anything beyond that, we're blessed. We good.
Yeah. And then like look too, if you didn't start, the podcast, like there wouldn't be so many people touched by, the limitless stories that people have in the city. So it's like when you look at it like that, it's like, okay, like this is purposeful. This is touching people, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I feel you because like The best way to describe it, just to piggyback off what you said, is
Yes.
integration. When you
Yes.
integrate your personal, authentic self into a service that you really want the world to see,
Yeah.
not necessarily coming from a place of this is for me, but this is for me in essence to serve you.
Yes.
The end product is not about you; it's about somebody else. And
Yes.
I think that's such a powerful place to be. So I'm grateful that we both can attest to having experienced that in our lives, because it's a lifelong journey that people try to connect with, and sometimes they're not successful. So I'll
Yes.
never take it for granted. I'll always
Yes.
cherish these days. And no matter how much growth happens, I'm always open to
Hmm.
seeing how it goes. So
Yes.
yeah, so success is creating. The other
Creating.
one is when you think about everything that you've built, the events, the music, the community, like what's the one message behind it all?
What's the one message?
If you were to look at it like a common theme that slices through the three sectors of your life, what would you say is the one that you'd be like, first word that comes to mind,
First one that comes to mind.
other than community?
I know, right? I don't want to lose that term, community. I think with everything I've built, I'm just like really grateful for the opportunities. But I think like a common theme throughout all of it is like, sometimes you have to be the one creating things that you want to see more of, in the world or like in your city. And like that too is scary too, like doing that
Yeah.
too. But it's just like, man, if you want to see more of something in the world, like create it, be in it, like, get started with
Embody
it,
it. Be
embody
that
it, embody it.
thing. Like
Yeah, for real.
you twin for real. You just described
Twin,
Limitless. I was sick and tired of
yeah,
like needing people at the club. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna have a space where we can still have a good time, but I want to get to know why you do what you do.
like
And
the real conversations.
I felt like I always thrived with those conversations. So I was like, man, fuck it. I'll do it.
Yes, yeah,
That's why we're here.
yeah. And I think the more you do it, it's just the nature of life. Like you just want to keep, empowering others or like keep the momentum going, So
Yeah,
yeah,
even the way you show up for yourself becomes differently.
yeah,
So in terms of like how do you stay grounded in who you are as your work continues to grow and evolve?
yeah. I think that sometimes like people may have like a perception of you, or like you might have to like live up to something that they, you know, perceive you as, right? And then I think just yeah, like remembering who you are, and a good indicator of that for me personally is like listening to my gut. Like, and that's how like I really, stay grounded too, like having my own discernment on things, on, collaborations or like things that don't really sit right with me is like more. So that's how I really try to stay grounded in like, especially with people, relationships, right?
It's called a gut feeling for a reason.
Intuition,
Gut
intuition,
feeling,
gut
intuition,
feeling. Yeah.
instinct, all of that.
Most of the time it's right. I try
And
my best to like stay grounded in that sense.
look to
Yeah, for sure. And who do we
yeah,
do it for? We do it for like, like the legacy, like the youth and the community and things like that too. But yeah,
right.
that's a huge part of like what I do too. Is just like
Mm-hmm.
like little girls looking up to us. Like that's like it like touches my heart, like things like that, or like just other women being empowered to do their own, artistic and creative avenues as well.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you have some inspiration towards the next generation. Jade, if you were to use one word to encapsulate your journey and your
Oh
lessons,
gosh.
it all boils down to
One word.
mm-hmm.
Oh man, he gave me one word, man. I got like 1,000.
Gotta scan through like Chat GPT, man.
I know. Well, okay, one word to describe everything.
Just one word to like encapsulate your journey so far with everything that you've experienced from the time Jade was a little baby to today. What would that be?
This word is coming up. I'm just thinking of how like I can relate it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like visionary.
Ooh, tell me why.
Visionary. I just feel like I maybe not going like so back, just like for me, like seeing the world in a better place or just even my community in a better place. Like that's I think the most motivating part of this whole journey,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Right.
and yeah, and I feel for me, I would say a visionary, like, uh, just like the creativeness I want to bring to where I'm at.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think visionary for me is like just like a strong word right now.
I love
Throughout
that.
everything I've been doing.
I
Yeah.
love that. Visionary, curator, creative, all same what's up group because you still have the bigger picture in mind and you have to bring it to reality. So
Yes.
I can feel that when I'm talking to you.
Yeah. No. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Jade, thank you so much for reminding us that
This
creativity
was so much fun.
creativity is more than an expression. It's a
Yes.
connection, it's healing, it's community. And I feel like your work just shows us that when we create from joy, we just don't build art. I think we build belonging. And I think that's so important because a lot of us seek and desire belonging. And
Yes.
just having a space for that, I'm truly grateful that you chose to spend some wisdom and time with me today. Where can people find you on the socials?
Yeah. Greg, thank you just for having me. And I just want to say too, I feel there's communities for everyone, regardless of like culture and things like that too. So
Hmm.
I hope that if anyone like the most takes from this is like you can create for your community, you can include them in everything too. And so I do hope that both of us in our, avenues and special creations, we can provide that for the people, for anyone who's looking for belonging.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah, thank
Right.
you for having me. Socials. If you just take a look at Girls We Do Adore, it's at girls dot we dot do adore dot adore.
Hmm.
And hopefully Greg will have that written out.
I'll tag it. Don't worry, I got you. I'll tag it.
Yeah.
I'll tag it. Don't
And,
worry about it.
and if you ever see a flyer named Jade, that's me. I'm for music. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jada.
Thank
Appreciate you,
you.
and I hope you enjoy your Sunday. I can't wait to have you again.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All
Stay
right.
limitless. Bye.